Ethan Carter's heart pounded as the small spacecraft shuddered in the empty void. The stars stretched endlessly beyond the windows, cold and distant like silent witnesses to his journey. He had been exploring uncharted sectors for months, chasing rumors of abandoned alien ships and strange signals that no human had ever investigated. Curiosity was his compass, and courage, his only companion. The derelict ship he had discovered floated like a shadow in the dark, its hull pocked, with scars from centuries of drifting. Its shape was unlike anything Earth engineers had ever imagined. Sharp flowing curves merged seamlessly with metallic spires that seemed to pulse faintly with light. Ethan's mind raced with both fear and fascination as he carefully maneuvered, his ship closer. "I need to see what's inside," he whispered to himself. This could change everything. Docking was precarious. The airlock hissed as it opened, revealing a long corridor lit by an eerie blue luminescence. Ethan's boots echoed softly on the smooth floor. Strange symbols adorned the walls, glowing, faintly as if responding to his presence. He felt a chill of awe. The ship was ancient, yet somehow alive. Suddenly the lights flickered, and a soft hum grew into a loud vibration. Before he could react, a beam of energy surrounded him, lifting him off the ground. Panic surged through him as his hands flailed. A voice, sharp and commanding, rang in the corridor, though no speaker was visible. "You're trespassing in the domain of the Ziralith Empire. Submit." Ethan had heard of the Ziralith only in legends. An alien empire, vast and powerful, ruled by a queen whose intelligence and authority were legendary across multiple star systems. To be captured by them was considered a fate worse than death. He tried to reason. "I'm just an explorer, I mean no harm." The energy tightened like invisible chains, unyielding. Within moments, alien guards appeared, their forms tall and sleek, covered in armor that shimmered with color-shifting scales. Their faces were unreadable, almost mask-like, with eyes that glowed softly in the dim light. They moved in perfect synchronization, silent and relentless. Ethan knew resistance was useless. He raised his hands, hoping his surrender would show cooperation. Yet, as he was forced along the corridor, a cold realization sank in. He was at the mercy of beings whose understanding of humanity was minimal at best. The journey through the ship was disorienting. The walls twisted and bent in impossible ways. Gravity seemed to shift at certain points, pulling him in odd directions. The guards never spoke, never blinked, and never faltered. Ethan's mind raced to imagine what awaited him. A prison? An experiment? Execution? Finally, they entered a vast chamber. At its center, a platform rose above the floor, bathed in soft golden light. The chamber was enormous, far larger than any human structure he had seen, with ceilings that seemed to touch the sky. Across the room, a figure appeared. Tall, regal, and terrifyingly beautiful. Queen Ziralith. Her presence was almost overwhelming. She moved with a grace that seemed to bend the very air around her. Her skin shimmered with iridescent patterns, and her eyes, large and luminous, seemed to pierce Ethan's very soul. She was surrounded by an aura of authority that made even the alien guards appear small in comparison. Ethan's mouth went dry. I didn't expect anyone." The queen raised a hand and the guards halted. Silence fell across the chamber, so thick it felt like a physical weight. For a long moment, Ziralith studied him without speaking, her gaze sharp yet curious, as if she were trying to unravel a puzzle. Then, in a voice both melodic and commanding, she said, "Kill him." The guards stiffened, their weapons raising. Instantly, Ethan's mind screamed, "No, wait, I didn't—" Before he could finish, the queen's voice rang out again, calm but resolute. "He is my husband." The guards froze. A ripple of confusion passed among them. To the aliens, marriage was a formal and binding institution, deeply political and rarely symbolic. The words were incomprehensible. Ethan's jaw dropped. He had not heard wrong. Did she just claim him as her husband? Ethan opened his mouth to speak, but hesitated. How could he explain that he barely knew her? That humans didn't marry aliens, let alone powerful queens of entire empires? Yet something in Zeralith's eyes told him not to question. There was certainty, almost absolute, in her declaration. The guards looked to each other, uncertainty flashing across their alien features. A few stepped back, unsure if the order still stood. Ethan realized he had survived not through strength, but through the Queen's command. His heart pounded, a mixture of relief and disbelief. Zeralith descended the platform and moved closer. Her presence was both intimidating and oddly comforting. She spoke again, softer this time, almost like a whisper meant only for him. "You are different," she said. "I have watched your kind from afar, and you have something no other species has. Courage, curiosity, will. You challenge the universe in ways my people never could." Ethan swallowed hard. I don't understand. Why me?" Her gaze softened slightly, but the intensity remained. "You carry the spark of humanity. That spark is rare, powerful, and now it is bound to me. The guards obey my word. You are safe. For now." For a moment, Ethan could only stare. His mind raced through 1,000 thoughts. How did she even know of him? Why declare him her husband? And most importantly, what did this mean for his life? The Queen gestured, and the guards stepped back, their weapons lowered but their eyes never leaving him. Zeralith moved to a nearby balcony that overlooked a sprawling alien city beneath the citadel. The architecture was breathtaking. Towers of glass-like materials spiraled into the sky. Rivers of light flowed through the streets, and massive ships moved in precise patterns above the city. "You will stay with me," Zeralith said, "not as a prisoner, but as a partner of understanding. Learn from me. Show me your world through your eyes, and perhaps, together, we can shape the future of both our species." Ethan felt a mix of awe and fear. He had survived being condemned to death, yet his life had become entirely alien. Every instinct screamed for him to escape, yet a part of him wanted to understand this powerful being who had just declared him her husband. As the guards escorted him to what would be his new quarters, Ethan glimpsed the city below again. The streets were alive with alien citizens, some glancing up at the citadel with reverence, others with fear. It was a civilization beyond human imagination, and he was now trapped within it, caught between curiosity and survival. Once inside his chamber, Ethan sat on a smooth, floating platform that served as a bed. The walls shimmered softly, adjusting to his body temperature and mood. Alien technology was more advanced than anything Earth had ever created, yet he could sense a certain emptiness. Intelligence alone did not equal understanding, and that, Ethan realized, was humanity's greatest strength. Hours passed, and finally Zeralith appeared again. She did not speak, only observed him. In that moment, Ethan understood something crucial. He was not just a guest, not just a prisoner. He was a symbol, a bridge between two worlds. The Queen finally spoke. "Tomorrow you will see the council. They will question you. Some may doubt your worth. Do not falter. Show them what humans can do. Show them why I chose you." Ethan nodded, though fear still gripped him. For the first time, he realized that survival was not enough. He had to prove humanity's value in a galaxy that saw humans as fragile and insignificant. That night, as he stared at the alien stars beyond the balcony, Ethan made a silent vow. He would not just survive. He would show the galaxy the power of human courage, creativity, and determination. And maybe, just maybe, he would understand why the most powerful being in the universe had chosen him as her husband. Ethan awoke to a strange calmness in his chamber. The soft glow of alien light filled the room, pulsing gently like a heartbeat. The walls adjusted subtly to his presence, displaying faint patterns of moving colors. It was beautiful, almost hypnotic, yet the unfamiliarity made him restless. Every sound, every movement reminded him that he was no longer in the human world he knew. After a few moments, a soft hum filled the room, signaling the arrival of the Queen. Zeralith entered silently, her presence commanding attention even in the quietest spaces. Her iridescent skin shimmered in the soft light, and her eyes glowed like twin suns, filled with both curiosity and authority. Ethan could not help but feel a mixture of awe and fear. She was unlike any being he had ever encountered, yet there was something in her gaze that hinted at understanding and even warmth. "You have questions," Zeralith said, her voice smooth but firm, carrying a melody that resonated deep in Ethan's chest. "Yes," Ethan admitted. "I don't understand. The marriage. Why me? Why claim me as your husband when I barely know you?" Zeralith regarded him silently for a moment as if weighing his words. Then she gestured for him to follow. Hesitant but curious, Ethan obeyed. She led him through a series of corridors that seemed to stretch and shift as they moved, creating impossible geometry that defied human logic. Finally, they arrived at a private chamber, vastly different from his own quarters. Here, alien technology was paired with natural beauty. Glowing plants of impossible colors floated mid-air, and crystalline structures refracted light in dazzling patterns. The floor pulsed gently beneath their feet, sensing their presence and adjusting accordingly. "This is my private space," Zeralith said. "Here you may see beyond the rules and politics of the Empire. Here you will understand why I chose you." Ethan looked around in awe. "Why me? What could I possibly offer that your people cannot?" The Queen's eyes softened, but the intensity did not fade. "Humans possess qualities that no other species I have observed truly understand. Ingenuity, courage, resilience, and the ability to adapt. You survive where others would fail. You create solutions where others see only obstacles. I have watched your kind for centuries, and among all the stars you stand out." Ethan shook his head, trying to comprehend the enormity of her words. "Centuries? You've watched humans for centuries?" "Yes," she said simply. "I have observed your rise, your struggles, your innovations. Even in primitive stages, humans have a spark that endures even when hope seems lost. That spark is rare, Ethan. It is what drew me to you." The meaning of her words sank in slowly. Ethan realized she had not chosen him randomly. She had studied humanity, understood it deeply, and seen potential in him that even he might not recognize. "But why claim me as your husband?" he asked cautiously. Zeralith's gaze became almost tender. "In my society, unions symbolize alliances, trust, and understanding. By declaring you my partner, I protect you and bind your destiny to mine. This does not mean the bond is conventional. It means that your existence now carries weight, not just for yourself, but for the future of your species and mine." Ethan swallowed, feeling the gravity of her statement. He realized that he had been thrown into a world where human rules did not apply, and yet he had been placed at the center of something far larger than himself. "Your council will not accept this easily," Zeralith continued. "Many of them view humans as insignificant. You will face their doubts and their scrutiny. You must prove the value of your kind, your courage, your intelligence, your resilience. Only then will you earn respect here." Ethan felt a surge of determination. He had always believed in human potential, even when others doubted him. And now, in an alien world, he would have the chance to show the galaxy what humanity could achieve. Zeralith walked to a crystalline pedestal and touched it. A holographic display shimmered into existence, showing images of Earth, sprawling cities, oceans, forests, deserts, and the stars beyond. The Queen gestured to the scenes. "You created beauty, conflict, and ingenuity. You adapt to impossible conditions. You build, destroy, and rebuild. Your species embodies paradoxes, strength and vulnerability, hope and despair. That is why I chose you." Ethan stared at the images, feeling both pride and responsibility. "And now you want me to, what? Show your council why humans deserve respect?" "Yes," she said, her voice steady. "And more than that, I want you to understand our world, our society, our rules. We are advanced, but we are not perfect. Your perspective, your humanity, may help guide us in ways we cannot see ourselves." Ethan nodded slowly. He had faced challenges before, but nothing like this. He was not only surviving, but also tasked with shaping interstellar understanding. Over the next few hours, Zyralith introduced him to aspects of her world. She showed him the alien combat systems, advanced technology, and their methods of communication. Everything was efficient, precise, and logical. Humans might lack raw technological prowess compared to the Zyralith, but Ethan realized that humans had something unique: imagination and adaptability. Where the aliens relied on strict protocols, humans improvised. Where they followed patterns, humans created solutions out of chaos. "You see," Zyralith said, noticing his expressions, "humans think differently. You do not only follow rules, you create new possibilities. That is the spark that makes you dangerous and invaluable." Ethan felt a mixture of pride and humility. He had never considered himself extraordinary. He was just a man, curious and determined. Yet here he was, standing beside the ruler of a galactic empire, being told that his very nature could influence the fate of countless lives. As the day passed, Zyralith shared more personal insights. She told Ethan about the Alien Council, their strict hierarchies, and the growing tension among those who opposed her fascination with humans. Some council members viewed humans as fragile and insignificant, unworthy of attention. Others respected her authority, but feared the consequences of such an unprecedented alliance. Ethan realized that his presence was more than symbolic. It was a catalyst. His survival, his actions, and even his perspective could tip the balance of power within the empire. During their conversations, Zyralith demonstrated a remarkable ability. She could share visions and thoughts telepathically. With a mere gesture, Ethan saw glimpses of his own life, moments he had long forgotten, and the Queen's centuries of observation of humanity. It was overwhelming and disorienting, yet enlightening. He began to understand her fascination, not as obsession but as admiration for human resilience and spirit. "You will need allies," Zyralith said. "Not everyone will trust you. Some will resist. Some will try to harm you. Learn who you can rely on and never underestimate the power of understanding your adversaries." Ethan nodded, absorbing the advice. He had faced human skeptics before, but dealing with aliens whose minds and culture were completely foreign would be far more challenging. Every move, every decision would carry weight beyond his imagination. As the first day drew to a close, Zyralith led Ethan to a balcony overlooking the sprawling alien city. The lights shimmered like stars fallen to the ground, and enormous ships moved gracefully through the skies above. The sheer scale and beauty were breathtaking. "You will live here," she said softly. "Protected by my word, but always observed. Learn, adapt, show them the strength of your kind, and perhaps, in time, you will understand why the universe brought us together." Ethan looked out at the alien city, the enormity of his new reality sinking in. He was far from home, surrounded by beings whose culture, technology, and power dwarfed anything humans had achieved. Yet he felt a spark of hope, a determination to prove the value of his species not just for survival, but for recognition and respect. That night, as he lay on the floating platform in his chamber, Ethan reflected on the Queen's words. He realized that he had entered a world of intrigue, politics, and wonder, where every choice could influence entire civilizations, and more importantly, he understood that his humanity, his courage, creativity, and resilience was his greatest weapon. For the first time, he felt a true sense of purpose. Tomorrow, he would meet the council. Tomorrow, he would face those who doubted him. And tomorrow, he would begin the journey of proving that humans were more than what the universe expected. Ethan closed his eyes, letting the alien light wash over him. He did not know what the future held, but one thing was certain. He would face it with the heart of a human, unbroken and unafraid. Ethan woke to a new dawn, the alien city sprawling beneath him in a cascade of light and movement. Ships of every size and shape glided through the skyways, their engines humming in harmony. From above, it was breathtaking, almost serene. But Ethan had learned quickly that appearances could be deceiving. The Empire might seem orderly and beautiful, yet danger was never far from the surface. His thoughts returned to the Queen's words from the previous night. "You will need allies. Not everyone will trust you." Ethan realized that his survival depended not only on understanding Zeralith, but also on understanding the Empire's intricate political structure. He had already seen hints of resistance, subtle glances from council members, whispers among the guards, and moments when even loyal advisors hesitated to follow Zeralith's commands without question. As he prepared for the day, a soft chime announced the arrival of one of the Queen's senior aides. A tall alien with elongated limbs and eyes like polished obsidian entered the room. "Ethan Carter," the aide said, his voice deep and steady. "The council convenes today. You will accompany the Queen. Be prepared for scrutiny. Some members may question your loyalty. Others may question your worth. Show restraint, show understanding, and above all, show courage." Ethan nodded, his heart racing. He had faced challenges before, but this would be unlike anything on Earth. These beings were intelligent, disciplined, and proud, and they would test him in every possible way. The walk to the council chamber was long, the corridors twisting and bending as if alive. Ethan kept his head high, remembering Zeralith's advice. "You carry the spark of humanity. Let it guide you." When they arrived, the chamber was enormous. It stretched hundreds of meters across, circular in shape, with towering columns that shimmered with alien energy. The council members were seated in a perfect ring around the room, their forms varied, but equally imposing. Their expressions ranged, from curiosity to disdain. All eyes turned toward Ethan as he followed Zeralith to the center of the chamber. The silence was heavy, almost suffocating. Ethan felt every gaze like a weight pressing against him. He straightened his back and forced himself to meet each pair of glowing eyes with steady courage. Zeralith's voice rang out, smooth and commanding. "Council members, this is Ethan Carter. He is my chosen partner, my human ally. He represents a species that many of you underestimate, yet he embodies qualities vital to the future of our empire." A murmur ran through the council. Some aliens exchanged skeptical glances. Others leaned forward with genuine interest. One elder, his scales a deep violet, spoke first. "Queen Zeralith," he said, his voice calm but edged with authority. "Why choose a human? Our species has thrived for millennia without them. What can one human contribute that we cannot achieve ourselves?" Ethan's heart pounded. This was the moment to prove that humans were more than what aliens expected. He took a deep breath, recalling his life on Earth, the challenges, the inventions, the moments of courage that defined humanity. "Respectfully," Ethan said, his voice steady despite his nerves, "humans are adaptable. We improvise when others cannot. We find solutions in chaos. We learn from mistakes and keep moving forward even when everything seems impossible. One human may not match the power of an empire, but we offer creativity, resilience, and a perspective that can change outcomes in ways no algorithm or protocol could predict." A few council members stiffened, their expressions unreadable. Some whispered among themselves, clearly debating his words. Ethan felt a spark of determination. "This is my chance. I cannot falter." The elder who had spoken first leaned forward, studying Ethan carefully. "You speak with confidence. But confidence alone does not ensure survival or influence. How will you demonstrate these abilities to the council?" Ethan glanced at Zeralith, who gave him a subtle nod. "I understand your concern," he said. "If you allow me, I will participate in the upcoming missions, assist in strategic planning, and work alongside your soldiers. I will show through actions, not just words, that humanity's value is real and tangible." For a tense moment, the council was silent. Then another member, younger and more energetic, spoke. "Very well. Let him prove himself. But be warned. Ethan Carter, many among us will watch closely and many will hope you fail. The Empire does not forgive weakness." Ethan nodded, understanding the stakes. He was not just representing himself, he was representing all of humanity. Every decision, every success, and every mistake would reflect on his species. After the council meeting, Zyralith led him to the training grounds. The area was immense, with platforms suspended in mid-air, energy barriers, and complex simulations designed to test both physical and strategic skills. Alien soldiers trained with precision, their movements synchronized in ways that defied human eyes. Today, Zyralith said, you begin proving yourself. Observe, learn, and participate. Show them that humans are more than they believe. Ethan nodded. He began by watching the simulations, studying the aliens' patterns, tactics, and decision-making processes. At first, he struggled to keep up. Their speed, coordination, and instincts were unlike anything he had encountered. But slowly, he began to notice patterns, opportunities where human intuition could make a difference. When it was his turn to participate, he applied his knowledge creatively. He improvised strategies the aliens would never have considered, using environmental elements and unexpected maneuvers to gain advantages in the simulation. The soldiers around him were surprised, some skeptical, others impressed. By the end of the session, even the sternest trainers had to acknowledge his effectiveness. Ethan's methods were unconventional, but they worked. He had demonstrated human ingenuity and adaptability, earning small nods of respect from the observers. As he rested afterward, a sudden alert flashed across the training grounds. The city's defense network detected unusual activity on the outskirts of the Empire, a rebel faction mobilizing against the Queen. Zyralith appeared beside him instantly, her expression tense. They grow bold, she said. They believe your presence weakens our authority. They seek to overthrow me. This will be your first real test, Ethan. Not a simulation, but a real threat. Ethan's heart raced. The stakes had just risen dramatically. What can I do? He asked. You will accompany the strike team, Zyralith said. Use your perspective, your creativity, to anticipate their moves, guide the soldiers where they cannot see, and above all, survive. The strike team consisted of elite soldiers, tall and armored, moving with deadly efficiency. Ethan felt a moment of self-doubt. He was human, fragile by comparison. But he pushed the fear aside, remembering the Queen's words. You carry the spark of humanity. As they approached the rebel stronghold, Ethan observed the terrain. The rebels had positioned traps, barricades, and automated defenses. Traditional alien tactics would have led to a direct assault, but Ethan suggested a different approach. Divide your forces, he said, pointing to alternative routes. Use stealth to flank them from two sides. Disable their traps with precision strikes. The element of surprise will be our advantage. The leader of the strike team, a seasoned alien, warrior, looked skeptical but allowed Ethan's plan. As they executed the strategy, it became clear that Ethan's insights were valuable. The rebels were caught off guard, and their coordinated defenses faltered. Ethan guided soldiers through tight spaces, improvised diversions, and even disabled a key defense mechanism using his understanding of the environment. By the end of the mission, the rebels were defeated with minimal casualties. The strike team, initially doubtful of the human, now regarded him with newfound respect. Ethan had not only survived but turned a dangerous situation into a victory through creativity and courage. When he returned to the palace, Zyralith awaited him. Her eyes glowed softly, a mixture of pride and satisfaction. You have shown them the value of your kind, she said. But remember, this is only the beginning. The Empire watches closely. Challenges will grow and threats will not cease. Your human ingenuity will be tested at every turn. Ethan nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility. He had survived the Council's scrutiny, proven himself in training, and now faced the dangers of rebellion. Every step reinforced a growing realization. Humans, even one human, could make a difference in the vast and complex universe. That night, Ethan stood on the balcony once more, looking at the city lights. He thought of Earth, of the people who had raised him, of the struggles that had shaped him. All of it had prepared him for this moment, not just to survive, but to prove humanity's worth to an entire alien empire. As he gazed at the stars, he silently vowed he would continue to fight, to learn, and to show that humans were more than what others believed. And perhaps, alongside Queen Zyralith, he could help shape a future where humans and aliens could stand together, stronger than either alone. The sky above the citadel darkened with the approach of the rebel fleet. Ships, jagged and menacing, moved with purpose, their engines glowing like fiery veins. Ethan stood on the palace balcony beside Queen Zyralith, feeling the tension ripple through the air. The once peaceful city below had transformed into a network of emergency preparations, with soldiers mobilizing at every corner. Zyralith's eyes glowed with determination. They believe the Queen's fascination with humans has weakened us. They will attempt to take the throne today. Ethan's stomach tightened. This was no simulation, no controlled test. This was real, a battle for the Empire itself, and he had been placed at the center. Yet, beneath the fear, a spark of confidence ignited. Humans thrived under pressure. They adapted. They found solutions where others panicked. The Queen turned to him, her voice steady but firm. "You will lead a squad alongside our elite soldiers. Use your insight, your human creativity, to anticipate their moves. Your perspective is our strength." Ethan nodded, swallowing the nervousness that threatened to paralyze him. He had survived scrutiny, proved himself in training, and guided a strike team successfully against the rebels before. Now, he would apply all that knowledge to a battle that could determine the fate of an empire. The strike team gathered on the floating platform outside the palace. Elite soldiers of various ranks, sleek and armored, waited silently. Ethan noticed their initial skepticism, a mixture of curiosity and doubt. But he also saw the subtle respect lingering from his previous mission. A holographic display shimmered before him, showing the layout of the city and the rebel fleet's approach. Ethan studied it carefully, noticing patterns in the rebels' formation. Unlike the aliens, he considered not just strength but unpredictability. "Divide your forces," he instructed. "Some units hold the perimeter, but I'll lead a smaller group to flank their main fleet. They won't expect unconventional tactics." The strike leader, a veteran alien with scales reflecting deep indigo, raised an eyebrow. "You intend to challenge conventional strategies with improvisation?" "Yes," Ethan said confidently. "We'll create diversions, exploit terrain, and use their expectations against them. It's risky, but it's the best chance for success." The leader hesitated, then nodded. "Very well, proceed." As the battle began, Ethan's team moved swiftly. Energy shields flared and sparks flew as the rebels launched their assault. The alien soldiers were formidable, their precision unmatched. But Ethan noticed moments where rigid tactics left gaps, opportunities for human ingenuity to turn the tide. He guided soldiers through narrow passages, used floating platforms as cover, and redirected energy flows to confuse the enemy. Small but critical actions disrupted the rebel coordination, giving Zyralith's forces a crucial advantage. Meanwhile, the Queen commanded the palace's defenses. Her movements were fluid, almost dance-like, as she controlled energy barriers, coordinated soldiers, and countered attacks with psychic precision. Ethan realized that while Zyralith's power was immense, her reliance on protocols was predictable, exactly where human creativity could excel. At a critical moment, a group of rebels broke through one of the outer gates, heading straight for the throne chamber. Ethan saw the danger instantly. "Split the forces," he shouted. "Half intercept them here, half follow me to flank their entry." The soldiers hesitated briefly but followed his lead. Ethan led the charge, using debris and architecture to create traps and choke points. The rebels, trained for direct combat, struggled to adjust. Ethan's unorthodox tactics created confusion, slowing their advance and giving Zyralith time to strengthen the palace defenses. In the chaos, Ethan confronted a rebel commander, towering and menacing. The alien swung a massive weapon with deadly precision. Ethan ducked and rolled, using a combination of speed and quick thinking to grab a nearby control panel. With a swift adjustment, he redirected the energy field, temporarily immobilizing the rebel commander. The soldiers around him reacted quickly, capturing the disoriented enemy. Ethan's heart raced. He had survived countless dangerous moments on Earth, but this was unlike anything he had ever faced. The stakes were astronomical, and the lives of thousands depended on every decision he made. As the battle raged, Ethan noticed another threat. A section of the city's defensive energy grid had been sabotaged, allowing rebels to breach critical areas. He acted immediately, coordinating soldiers to isolate the sabotage and restore the barriers. Using a combination of human ingenuity and knowledge of alien technology, he repaired the grid in record time, preventing what could have been a catastrophic collapse. Zyralith appeared beside him during the fight, her presence a beacon of power. "Ethan," she shouted over the chaos, "your strategy works. Continue guiding the forces." Ethan nodded, adrenaline surging. "We're not done yet." With renewed focus, he led a counter-offensive. Rebels attempting to regroup were met with unexpected maneuvers. Ethan created false paths, ambushed isolated units, and coordinated energy blasts to force the enemy into bottlenecks. Every action reflected human adaptability, a skill the aliens respected but had never relied upon fully. In the throne chamber, Zyralith confronted the remaining rebel leaders. Her psychic abilities flared, creating waves of energy that incapacitated many attackers. But one cunning rebel leader avoided direct confrontation, attempting to seize control of the central command system. Ethan, noticing the threat, raced toward the chamber, dodging debris and laser strikes. He arrived just in time to intercept the rebel. Using a combination of human intuition and quick improvisation, he disabled the command system temporarily, giving Zyralith the opening she needed to neutralize the intruder. The chamber fell silent except for the heavy breathing of the Queen and Ethan. Zyralith regarded him with a mix of awe and pride. "You have shown the Council and the Empire the power of human ingenuity. Your courage and creativity have saved the throne today." Ethan felt a surge of relief. He had survived the Council's scrutiny, proven himself in training, and now turned the tide of a full-scale battle. Yet he knew this was only the beginning. The Empire was vast, and challenges would continue. But for the first time, he felt that humans, even one human, could truly influence the fate of civilizations. As the rebel ships retreated, the city slowly returned to order. Soldiers checked for damage, restored barriers, and tended to the wounded. Citizens emerged cautiously, peering at the remnants of the conflict. The sky, once darkened with hostile ships, cleared to reveal the glittering stars above. Zyralith and Ethan stood on the balcony surveying the city. The Queen's expression was calm but satisfied. "Today we have shown that strength alone does not secure victory. Creativity, courage, and adaptability, qualities your species embodies, can change outcomes in ways no one anticipated." Ethan nodded, feeling a deep sense of purpose. He had faced impossible odds, yet human ingenuity had made a difference. For the first time, he truly understood the Queen's fascination, not as obsession, but as recognition of humanity's unique power. The night was quiet, the city still humming with recovery. Zyralith turned to him. "You have earned the respect of many, Ethan, but the Empire watches closely. Challenges will continue, and threats may rise again. You must remain vigilant." "I understand," Ethan said. "I will do whatever it takes to protect this empire and humanity's place in it." For the first time since his capture, Ethan felt a profound sense of belonging. He was far from Earth, surrounded by beings whose power and knowledge dwarfed human understanding. Yet he realized that humans possessed something even advanced civilizations sometimes lacked: adaptability, courage, and creative problem-solving. As they returned to the palace, Ethan looked at the stars beyond the citadel, thinking of Earth and the people who had shaped him. He had survived scrutiny, training, and now a full-scale assault. Every challenge reinforced a growing belief. Humans were capable of far more than the universe expected. That night, as he rested in his quarters, Ethan reflected on the day's events. He had faced enemies larger, stronger, and more technologically advanced than himself. Yet through ingenuity, courage, and quick thinking, he had turned the tide of battle. He had proven that humanity's value was real, even in a galaxy that doubted it. And beside him the Queen, powerful, intelligent, and commanding, and had recognized it. Together, they had defended the throne and reshaped perceptions of human potential. Ethan closed his eyes, the hum of the palace and the distant stars above lulling him into thought. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new council meetings, and, perhaps, new threats. But tonight he allowed himself a moment of quiet pride. Humans, he realized, were more than what the galaxy believed. And in this alien world, one human had already made a difference. The citadel was quiet the morning after the battle. The skies, once filled with the aggressive hum of rebel ships, now gleamed peacefully under the alien sun. Soldiers patrolled the streets cautiously, ensuring that no remnants of the rebellion remained. The city, though scarred from conflict, radiated resilience and order. For the first time, Ethan felt a sense of calm wash over him, though he knew that peace, even for a day, required vigilance. Queen Zeralith appeared at his door, her presence commanding yet gentle. Her eyes, luminous and calm, reflected the light of the rising sun. "Ethan," she said softly, "today marks not only the end of the rebellion but also the beginning of something greater. You have proven yourself, not only to me, but to the Empire. The Council has taken notice of your value and by extension the value of humanity." Ethan blinked in surprise. They respect humans now? Zeralith smiled faintly. "Respect is earned through courage, ingenuity, and action. You have shown all three. Many who doubted you now recognize that humans are more than they once believed." He felt a surge of pride and humility at the same time. Humans had always faced doubt and underestimation, yet somehow in the vastness of space, one human had made a difference. One human had helped change the perception of an entire alien empire. The Queen guided him to the council chamber. This time, the atmosphere was different. Instead of skepticism and whispered doubts, the council members were attentive, their expressions open. Some nodded respectfully as Ethan and Zeralith entered. The air felt charged with anticipation, a turning point for the Empire itself. Zeralith addressed the council first. "The rebellion has been defeated," she said. "This was made possible, not by strength alone, but through cooperation, strategy, and insight. Ethan Carter, the human I have chosen as my partner, has shown us the power of ingenuity and courage." A council elder leaned forward, his scales glinting in the chamber, light. "Indeed," he said, "we witnessed the humans' unconventional tactics. They have proven effective and even inspiring. Perhaps we underestimated your kind, Queen Zeralith, and humanity itself." Ethan nodded respectfully. "Thank you," he said. "I am honored to help in any way I can. Humans are adaptable. We face challenges with creativity and determination, and while we may seem small compared to powerful civilizations, our actions can create ripples that change outcomes in ways no one predicts." Another council member, younger and energetic, spoke next. "We have seen your courage and your ability to act decisively. You remind us that strength is not only in power but also in intelligence, adaptability, and teamwork." Ethan felt a warm sense of accomplishment. Not only had he survived the council's scrutiny, but he had also earned their respect. More importantly, he had demonstrated the essence of humanity: courage, ingenuity, and resilience. After the council meeting, Zeralith took him to a private observation deck overlooking the city. The battle damage had been repaired rapidly, a testament to the alien workers' efficiency and dedication. Yet Ethan realized that even as technology restored the city, it was the people, both alien and human-inspired, who would ensure true strength and harmony. "You see," Zeralith said, her gaze sweeping across the city, "the Empire has learned something important. Strength alone does not ensure survival or respect. Courage, creativity, and moral resilience matter. Your species embodies all three, and now humans are seen as partners, not just observers. Ethan took a deep breath. It feels incredible to know that humans could have this impact, even in a world so different from ours. Zyrolith nodded. The universe is vast, Ethan, and most species underestimate those they see as weaker. You have shown them that humanity's true strength lies in more than just physical or technological power. It lies in spirit, adaptability, and the will to face impossible odds. As they spoke, a group of alien citizens approached. Some were curious onlookers, others were students of military and political strategy. They bowed respectfully to Zyrolith, and then turned to Ethan, their expressions filled with admiration. "You are the human who defended the throne," one young alien said. "We watched your tactics during the battle. You thought creatively, acted decisively, and inspired others to follow. Your species truly has remarkable qualities." Ethan smiled, a mix of humility and pride. "Thank you. I only did what anyone would do for their allies, and for a world they believe in." Later in the Queen's private chambers, Zyrolith shared more about the future. "Ethan, your role here will continue, not just as a symbol but as an active participant. We will explore new alliances, enhance our technology, and strengthen our defenses together. You will guide us, and in turn, learn from us. Together, we can shape a future where humans and aliens stand as equals." Ethan felt a deep sense of purpose. For the first time in his life, he understood the scope of his impact. He had survived capture, navigated a hostile political environment, and turned the tide of war. Yet now, he was entrusted with a role that could influence not only an empire, but also the galaxy's perception of humanity. Days passed, and Ethan worked alongside the Queen and the Council. He contributed insights to technological enhancements, suggested improvements to training programs, and even guided diplomats in negotiations with neighboring species. Every day, his presence reminded the aliens that humans could contribute ideas and strategies that were both practical and innovative. Word of Ethan's accomplishments spread throughout the Empire. Citizens, soldiers, and leaders began to see humans as valuable allies rather than primitive beings. Children in the cities whispered his name in admiration. Scholars debated human tactics and creativity. Even skeptics slowly came to respect the species that could influence a galactic empire through courage and ingenuity alone. One evening, Ethan and Zyrolith walked along a terrace overlooking the palace gardens. Alien plants glowed softly under the twin moons, their colors shifting like living rainbows. The city below shimmered, peaceful for the first time in months. "You have done well, Ethan," Zyrolith said. "The Empire will never forget this day, and neither will I." Ethan smiled, feeling a warmth he had not expected. "I never imagined a human could make such a difference in a galaxy so far from home. But now I understand. It's not just strength or knowledge that matters. It's courage, creativity, and the willingness to act when it counts." Zyrolith nodded. "Exactly. And now humans will have a place here not as outsiders, but as partners. Your species has earned that recognition." Ethan looked at the stars, the familiar feeling of Earth far away in his heart. Yet he felt at home here too. Humans were no longer limited by the planets they were born on. They could influence entire civilizations, inspire allies, and shape the future of the galaxy. The Queen placed a hand gently on his arm. "The Empire is strong, Ethan. But strength paired with understanding is even stronger. And together, we will guide this empire into a new era. One where humans and aliens work side by side." Ethan felt a deep sense of purpose. For centuries, humans had been underestimated in the galaxy. But here, in the heart of an alien empire, he had proven that a single human could change minds, save lives, and inspire unity. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows over the palace and the city below. Stars began to sparkle in the night sky, distant and beautiful. Ethan stood beside Zyrolith, feeling the weight of responsibility but also the thrill of possibility. The universe was vast, and challenges would always arise, but humans were ready and capable to meet them. As the night settled, Ethan reflected on his journey. From the moment he was captured facing the threat of death to proving his worth in council chambers and on the battlefield, he had learned something profound. Humanity's true power lay in courage, ingenuity, and the willingness to act, even when odds seemed impossible. And now, as he looked out over a peaceful city, Ethan knew that humans were no longer just observers in the galaxy. They were partners, innovators, and protectors. He had survived, adapted, and thrived. He had turned skepticism into respect, doubt into admiration, and fear into inspiration. Beside him, the Queen looked out at the stars, a quiet smile on her face. Together, they had defended the throne, reshaped perceptions, and opened a new chapter for humanity in the universe. Ethan took a deep breath. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, but tonight, he allowed himself a moment of quiet triumph. The rebellion was over, the Empire was secure, and humans had earned their place among the stars. In that moment, he understood something that would guide him for the rest of his life. Courage, creativity, and the human spirit were forces that no power in the galaxy could ignore. And so, under alien moons and distant stars, a human and an alien queen stood together, not just as allies, but as partners in a new era, a future where humanity's brilliance shone brightly across the galaxy.